Shout out to 504 Chronicles, man, because he just dropped what they basically said is 33 counts indicted on 20. Overt Act number 1, on or about January 8, 2026, defendants Wright, Johnson, Waters, Rogers, Gibson, Glover, and McDaniel departed Memphis, Tennessee together in a black Dodge Charger Hellcat bearing Tennessee license plate BHB 8698 and a black Dodge Ram bearing Arkansas license plate TKBXD, traveling in interstate commerce to Dallas, Texas, in furtherance of the conspiracy. Overt Act number 2, on or about January 9, 2026, in the early morning hours, defendants Wright, Johnson, Waters, Rogers, Gibson, Glover, and McDaniel arrived in the Dallas, Texas area where they remained in preparation for the charged offenses. Overt Act number 3, on or about January 10, 2026, at approximately 1:50 p.m., defendant Williams Sr. entered a Staples retail store located at 3333 Preston Road, Frisco, Texas, proceeded directly to the copy and print machines and conducted a transaction for the purpose of printing contractual release paperwork to be used in coercing victim Roderick Davis' signature under the threat of deadly force. Overt Act number 4, on or about January 10, 2026, defendant Williams Sr. made multiple telephone calls to studio owner Justin Namon for the purpose of booking a recording studio located on Dallas Parkway, Dallas, Texas, under the false pretext of a music recording session, when in fact the defendants intended to use said location to carry out the kidnapping and robbery of the victims. Overt Act number 5, on or about January 10, 2026, defendant Williams Sr. using a white Buick Enclave bearing Texas license plate XMV1420, rented from Hertz Rental Car on December 29, 2025, transported himself and co-conspirators to the Windrose Tower area of Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, where all 9 defendants assembled and advanced the offense. Then it says Overt Act number 6, on or about January 10, 2026, between approximately 2:28 p.m. and 2:46 p.m., all 9 defendants congregated at the Windrose Tower area in coordinated preparation for traveling to the offense location. Overt Act number 7, on or about January 10, 2026, at approximately 3:27 p.m., defendant Williams Sr. arrived at the, what the hell is this? Exterior of the office building located on Dallas Parkway, Dallas, Texas, where the recording studio was located, and was observed on surveillance video speaking on his cellular phone prior to entering the building at approximately 3:28 p.m. If you ever wish payday came sooner, this might actually help. There's a banking app called Current with a bunch of useful features, and one of the main ones lets you access up to $750 of your paychecks early. If you switch your payroll over with Current, you get a full set of features like paycheck advance, fee-free overdraft, and the build card and more. It handles everything in one app. I actually like that myself, which is why I partner with them, and right now they're giving $75 to anyone who signs up using my link or scans the QR code on the screen. If you scan the QR code, it'll take you straight to the sign-up page where you can create your own account. Just go through the normal sign-up steps, enter your information, order your card. After you complete those steps, you'll see the option pop up to enter my promo code, which unlocks the $75 bonus when you switch your direct deposit. So make sure you go through the full sign-up process so you don't miss it. If you ever feel like managing money is stressful and tight sometimes, it's definitely worth checking out because that's literally what it's designed for. Overt Act number 8, on or about January 10, 2026, at approximately 3:43 p.m., all 9 defendants entered the east side of the office building together and proceeded through the lobby area toward the recording studio. Overt Act number 9, on or about January 10, 2026, defendant Gibson exited the office building after entering with the other defendants and returned shortly thereafter carrying a bag slung over his shoulder, which the grand jury alleges contained firearms to be distributed among co-conspirators inside the studio. Overt Act number 10. Okay. Yeah. On or about January 10, 2026, defendant Williams Jr. requested that victim Roderick Davis accompany him privately into the attached recording room, separating Roderick Davis from the victims Matthew Merzole and Brandon Putman, and from security personnel who remained in the studio lobby. Overt Act number 11, on or about January 10, 2026, defendant Williams produced purported contractual release or termination paperwork from a bag inside the recording room and directed victim Roderick Davis to sign said paperwork. Overt Act number 12, on or about January 10, 2026, at the direction of defendant Williams Jr., defendant Wright left the recording room, retrieved the bag, and returned to the recording room, delivering to Williams Jr. a black AK-style pistol containing within said bag. And y'all know that's a Draco. OVERT Act number 13, on or about January 10, 2026, defendant Williams Jr. produced a black AK-style pistol and pointed it directly at victim Roderick Davis, demanding at gunpoint that Roderick Davis sign the purported contractual release paperwork while defendants Williams Sr. and Wright stood in the recording room as armed principals. OVERT Act, right? That was 13. Okay. OVERT Act number 14, on or about January 10, 2026, victim Roderick Davis signed the contractual release paperwork under duress while held at gunpoint by defendant Williams Jr. and defendant Wright, used a cellular phone to record Roderick Davis signing the paperwork and making a verbal declaration that he had released Williams Jr. from his contractual obligations. OVERT Act number 15, on or about January 10, 2026, defendant Williams Sr. reviewed the signed contractual release paperwork and advised defendant Williams Jr. that the paperwork needed to be dated, causing Williams Jr. to further detain Roderick Davis under the threat of force and compel him to add a date adjacent to his signature. OVERT Act number 16, on or about January 10, 2026, following the forced signing of the contractual release paperwork, defendant Williams Jr. seized from the victim Roderick Davis at gunpoint Roderick Davis' wedding ring, watch, earrings, and United States currency. OVERT Act number 17, on or about January 10, 2026, as defendant Williams Jr., Williams Sr., and Wright exited the recording room with victim Roderick Davis. The remaining defendants, Waters, Rogers, Johnson, Glover, McDaniel, and Gibson, produced handguns and AR/AK style pistols in the studio control room and began demanding property from victims Matthew Marzol and Brandon Putman. OVERT Act number 18, on or about January 10, 2026, defendant Wright closed the studio door to the lobby and barricaded it with his big-ass body to prevent victim Roderick Davis, Matthew Marzol, and Brandon Putman from escaping and to prevent the victim's security personnel from entering the control room, thereby completing the confinement of all three victims. Now, I know what a lot of y'all are saying, bro. We already seen that. We already know that. Well, part of that, it was redacted as redacted. So all this shit is now unredacted. They said cats got pocket dug and then worse. But here's where it gets even more interesting. We see the counts. And boy, oh boy, the counts are bad. Roll it. So now you start seeing the actual counts. Count 18, conspiracy to possess firearms and furtherance of crimes of violence. And we kind of, if you know what I'm saying? 11. If you know, right, then you already know that this was coming. There's no way in this world that nobody didn't see this one right here. So we already knew what they originally got him for, but we knew the superseding indictment was going to hit. And this damn thing hit like a dang ball of TNT. So using, carrying, and possessing a firearm during in relation to a crime of violence. You see what I'm saying? So they got the count 11 on there, count 18, conspiracy to possess firearms and furtherance of crimes of violence. You know what I'm saying? 18 USC 924. So count 11, all this shit, bro. It's bad, bro. It's all the way bad. It's damn near all the way over. Count 10, using, carrying, and brandishing a firearm during and in relation to a crime of violence. Count 9, using, carrying, and brandishing a firearm during and in relation to a crime of violence. Shiesty and crew were indicted on 20 counts and 33 overt acts. I'm not a lawyer. Shout out, Mel. I'm not a lawyer, but whoo, shit, boy, you got a lot of fighting to do. And to be honest, right, to be fair, square, obvious, and honest, I watched 1090 Jake and Vlad TV converse about this, and Jake made a point of saying, bro, these cats took a bus back to the Memphis area, right? But what Jake fails to realize is Pooh Shiesty was broke. So that's why his homeboys got the jewelry. The homeboys got a lot of shit. They got bread. They got 10, 17 watches. They was all broke. That's why you take all that shit. Hyenas got to eat. So it is what it is. That's why it went that way. Because if it was all about getting out the contract and I had bread, we just would have signed the contract and threw Gucci Mane out the front door like Jazz from Fresh Prince. But now you see what it is. You see what it got to be. And what it got to be is something slick and simple. Nah, it's not slick and simple. Yes, sir. But why slick and simple? Because I could cash my people out like, appreciate that, appreciate that, appreciate that, appreciate that. But I ain't got no bread. You gotta think about it this way. And I'm not agreeing with Pooh Shiesty. Pooh Shiesty wrong and foul as shit for this, but I understand it. Pooh Shiesty was broke and broke in. So your last things you can do is think out of your mind. Once again, the way that it should have happened on both ends, Pooh Shiesty should have been basically complaining about Gucci. Gucci need to release me out this contract, bruh. This is whatever. You should have turned the internet against Gucci Mane and called him a sour hater and started to post all the damn videos of all his former artists dissing the mess out of Gucci Mane. He decided not to. So that's where you messed up. You make the public put pressure on you. But then when it goes to doggone Gucci Mane, in my opinion, I wouldn't want Pooh Shiesty in jail like that. You know what I'm saying? I would have frozen Pooh Shiesty out of everything and literally would have made him so broke that he would have had to crash out in order to get a pack of ramen noodles. You hear me? That's what I would have did. I would have made sure Pooh Shiesty slept in the gutter before I was done with him. Oh, you want to rob me for that little bit of money? Boy, that better last you a lifetime, because how I'm coming and where I'm going, where I'm about to take it to, no. That's me. I'm too petty, bro. Like, some of y'all, you would have called the police. Man, nigga, please. Yeah, right. My revenge tour is the best. Trust me. I'm tearing people up every day I go on Instagram Live. You can follow me on IG at Seti Nash, one word. Yeah, y'all can screen record that and post on YouTube's free content all day. But this right here, crazy. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts. We told y'all, though. Anybody with a brain would have told y'all. But more action's coming. More overt action's coming because you didn't have anything with the firearms. Now they here. Hey, we are 15K away from the giveaway. So make sure you want to win one of these. Comment on every video, like every video, and share every video. That's simple. It'll take you a couple of seconds. Get yourself in to win one of these. If we keep on going up as fast as we're going up, man, the 400K giveaway going to be crazy. Other than that, I'll catch you on the next one. Click right here to see how we got some news right before the paperwork drop. We'll do the paperwork soon because I got all of it now. But click right here to see how we kind of predicted what was going to happen, but it's got a little funky. Click right here for that Ben 10/saga of All-Star JR. Under arrest, or click right here for the playlist right here or right here. I don't remember.